Hi, my name is Sven Wiener. I am running as the second Tasmanian Senate candidate for the new internet-based party, Senator Online. I grew up in the West Tamar and studied engineering at the University of Tasmania, then worked interstate for around 10 years in Adelaide's defence software industry. My family live in Tasmania and I am now in charge of their business interests, mostly in the property management and property development. What got me into politics was the fast-track assessment of the Gunns Tamar Valley pulp mill, which completely undermined my confidence in the Liberal and Labor parties. I've stood as a candidate at every state, local and federal election since that fast-track assessment in March 2007. Personally, I believe marriage should not be redefined from its present legal meaning, and I hold that view because, as far as I am aware, civil unions seem to encompass all that marriage does. Where civil unions fall short of providing all the benefits of marriage, that should be addressed. However, I don't presume too much regarding what the opinion of the majority of Tasmanians is on that issue. Furthermore, if the majority were in favour of including same-sex civil unions within the definition of marriages, I would feel out of place in standing in the way of the will of the majority of Tasmanians. There is need for some flexibility to cover Tasmanians with chromosomal abnormality. These would probably include around 10 or more people of the several thousand you know. They should have a fair go, and where they have identified in society all their lives as a female, but happen to have an inactive Y chromosome, I think they should still be considered female for the purposes of marriage legislation. It seems only fair. 100,000 Australians being homeless is a complicated issue needing to be addressed by a number of means, with mental health front and centre among those, as well as combating drug abuse through education and rehabilitation programs, along with counselling in cases of domestic violence. Senator Online's model of operation will facilitate input from all Tasmanians being made available, forming the basis of policy for endorsement or rejection by Tasmanians. Some of the best ideas for solutions to homelessness will no doubt come from those who have been through the experience of being homeless. I believe that a healthy economy combined with quality education for all Tasmanians will in the long term do much to reduce the present rate of homelessness. In the shorter term, other measures are urgently needed, and it will be important to ensure we are getting the best return on money spent to best address the issue. In relation to the removal of the faith component of the National Chaplaincy in Schools program, I would be accepting and voting in the Senate according to the majority view indicated by internet polling of the Tasmanians. Personally, I would not be in favour of removal of the faith component of the National Chaplaincy in Schools program, where a majority of students at a school were against such a change. With regard to reviewing classification standards, personally I would be very much in favour of having a consistent system, as that will make it much easier for the average person to understand and keep track of, as well as assisting business to comply. I prefer self-regulation, though in some cases it is irresponsible to allow a minor access to material of a sexually deviant, pointedly sexual or excessively violent nature. The people I've spoken with have so many different opinions on the issue, and what is needed is a clear-cut compromise so that we can all get on with enjoying our entertainment media. I would be voting in the Senate based on the majority view of Tasmanians, as determined by internet polling regarding each bill the Senate votes on. No doubt the majority view of Tasmanians will vary considerably depending on just what form of censorship controls are being proposed. I am very concerned that the Tasmanian Greens will end up holding the balance of power in the Senate. I regard them as a minor party and particularly don't like their policy to allow late-term abortions right up until birth, purely at the discretion of the mother. I presume the ALP would allow a conscience vote by its senators on that issue, and hence that attempts to legalise late-term abortion where the mother's health is not at risk would be defeated, in spite of the Greens' support for such legislation. The Greens do hold the balance of power at the moment in Tasmanian State Parliament, and it appears to me that their left-wing policies will tend to bend the Tasmanian Labor government towards bigger government and higher state taxation to fund implementation of the Tasmanian Greens' new ideas. Having the Greens hold the balance of power in the federal Senate would be an order of magnitude worse and probably result in bigger federal government as well as higher federal taxation. Up until 2007, John Howard's majority in the Senate certainly got things done, but tended to stifle debate, which is unacceptable, and passed into law many items of legislation which the majority of Tasmanians were not in favour of. If Senator Online were to eventually hold the balance of power in the Senate, having senators elected from all Australian states, in my opinion, that would be the best outcome, because effectively during a deadlocked vote, Senator Online would be allowing allowing Australians to treat that issue as a referendum conducted over the internet. What could be more appropriate than that?